Everybody needs to mute except me and Antonia. Hello. Welcome to a very special live healing session with the amazing Antonia Harman. Hello, Antonia.
Hello, how are we? Lovely to see you. Thank you everyone for being here. And also thank you, Mark, for hosting me today.
Oh, my pleasure. What are we going to do today?
Right. Well, I've got something pretty special in store for you. So I wanted to tell you a bit about myself and give you my grand theory of disease, because I've worked out what diseases really are, which is pretty epic, really. And then I want to do a healing on everyone if they are up for it. So I know in the email you said, getting to some people, no, I want everyone to be involved. If people are up for it, I will do everybody simultaneously if that works for everyone. So yeah, I can see that. Yes, we're up for it. Thank you. So I think it's better than just doing it on one person or a couple of people, because it's not really fair. You get left out. So let me tell you what I do and a little bit about myself if you are unfamiliar with me. So I've been working dissolving traumas for blooming eons. I've been in this game for nearly 20 years, and I can instantly dissolve traumas and sometimes diseases, which is really exciting because disease, as far as I'm concerned, is primarily frozen trauma. So what I do is when we get to that, we're going to get you to just focus on a trauma and grade it out of 10. And then we're going to dissolve the resonance with it. And then you're going to feel at peace with something which was horrifying before to you in the past. So that's what we're going to be doing when we get there. So yeah, let me just give you some information and who I am and all the rest of it. So yeah, my name is Antonia Harman. I've got a company called Divine Empowerment, and I didn't expect to be a healer. A lot of people come from the position of being a wounded healer, but I was never that. I just came through with some, I don't know, crazy superpowers, and I've been using them to be able to do loads of healing ever since. So it's been quite a fun and surprising journey.
You muted yourself. Antonia, you're muted.
I was trying to find your face. You vanished off the screen. Okay. Yeah, so I did a healing on my friend who's actually upstairs visiting me right now, which surprised me. She had burst her eardrum 5 or so times and went to the doctor, the specialist and surgeon. It was a 50% chance of surgery working, and it was a £4,500 surgery. And it was excruciating pain, like childbirth through her ear, or like she's been stabbed in the head. And it was a couple of times a week. And so she, had booked the surgery and was getting the money together. And what do? You just do it, but only 50% chance of it working. And I think primarily that was because they didn't really know what it was, but they were going to do their very best. And what do? No one knew about healing. That's what she was getting. She was doing. So she was walking down the street and she crumbles to her knees and starts screaming and effing and blinding, saying, help me, fix my ear. And you're a healer now. Now, at that point, I'd done a 5-day workshop, and I wouldn't consider myself a healer. It was very strange for her to say that I was a healer in the first place. But, I was like, well, she's from Carlisle. She's hard as nails, and she doesn't complain about things. So for her to be very upset was very unusual. Anyway, I put I went into the loser restaurant, put my hands on her ears, and to my surprise, something that looked like a snake started coming out of her ear, and I started feeding it out like a rope. And it was completely crazy. And it was about 1.5 feet long, and I could see it in heat waves sort of wriggling around. And she was screaming to get it out. And then she said, get it out, get it out. And they asked me to do the other side. I did the other side. And that was in 2007. And she's never had earache since, cancelled the surgery. That was miraculous, changed the course of my life. The whole thing just was like, I was TV presenting and modeling at the time. And I thought, do you know what? This is more interesting. This is more special. So I went to, I've just spent the last, 17, 18 years learning how to dissolve traumas and diseases. So I just saw a question come up on the screen. Can epilepsy be caused by trauma? As far as I'm concerned, every disease is caused by trauma. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. But yes, and I have an amazing textbook that tells us all about that. So yeah, so I've been working for a long time dissolving traumas, and now I'm doing quite a lot of diseases. So diseases, as far as I'm concerned, come in 3 categories. And I think it'll make sense. I told Mark about this on the phone a little while ago, and I got a bit of a wow from him. So I think it's a good theory, and it's I've been using it for a while, and it's, You know, there's a thing about theories, and if they are simple, like the Einstein says, if you can't explain something simply, you don't know it well enough. If you can explain something really simply, then it tends to be true. The more simplistic something is, the more true something tends to be. So, so this is very simple. So my grand theory of disease. Are you ready for it, everyone? Shall we do it?
We're ready.
Cool. So basically, yeah, diseases come in 3 categories: a gas, a liquid, and a solid. So that's very, very basic. Anyway, we know about gas, liquids, and solids, the changing of states. Now, a gas-based disease is a thought-based disease. Now, if you hang around somebody who's anxious or angry or upset in any way, depressed maybe, you feel it immediately. You walk into a room and someone's depressed and it almost sucks the air out of the room. If you walk into a room after an argument, you can feel it in the air. You're like, oh God, what's happened in here? Have you two been fighting? And even if they're looking like they're okay, you can feel it in the air. I mean, on the lighter side, if your friends have just had sex, you walk into the room, you can feel it in the air, right? So that's like a gas, emotions like a gas. Or if you're hanging around someone who's super fun or super funny, it's contagious. You feel it and you get absorbed into that energy. And look at the word emotion. Emotional energy and motion. So gas-based diseases are thought-based diseases. So anything anxiety, anything depression, anything which is emotional in context is a gas-based disease because it follows you around like a gas. It fills the room like a gas. It literally hangs around you like a fart in the phone box, as my father used to say. So yeah, so gas-based diseases are thought-based diseases. So think about changing state. How does water vapor become liquid water? Now, if you remember from your high school's chemistry or physics, you will know that if you put enough water vapor into a finite space, it will eventually cool down and slow down. And if you have enough of it, it will just become liquid water because a gas is zooming around all over the place, whereas water is sort of doing a bit of a 70s dance move. You know, standing still but vibrating, but moving and swaying around. But it's about density. So if you have enough gas, enough negative thoughts in a finite space, the water vapor will eventually become liquid water. And then, and the sort of diseases which are liquid-based diseases, think about what are fluids in your body. Now, if you have a cyst, for example, what's a cyst? A cyst is a ball of fluid. It's a liquid-based disease, it has to be. Think about chronic pain. Now, chronic pain, we're going to be I'm going to help on the retreat. We'll get to that in a bit, but I'm going to help us move with chronic pain there. But basically, if you have something like a backache or fibromyalgia or chronic pain like that, sometimes it's a 10 out of 10 pain-wise, sometimes it's a 2 out of 10. Its location varies. It's not always in exactly the same place. It sort of shimmies to the left or shimmies to the right. It can be inch here or an inch there in a different place. So it's a liquid. It behaves like a liquid. It's not in the same place all the time. And then we've also got the solid-based disease. Think of a tumor. Tumor solid as a rock. How do you go from a liquid to a solid? It's about compression again. If you put enough liquid in, it will become ice if you compress it, because all ice is, or frozen water is, or solid water is just that compression again. So from my grand theory of disease is frozen trauma and compressed thoughts. So if you get fixated on thinking about one awful thing that happened to you, if you get fixated on that thought for months, years, decades, whatever it might be, that has matter. There is matter to thought, and at some point that will form a disease. And what the disease is, where the disease is all about the quality of your thoughts, what you're specifically thinking about. I use a textbook called Metaphysical Anatomy, which I just use in my textbook. It's absolutely fantastic. It tells you the emotional reason behind diseases. And what I do is dissolve the resonance. So I will read people a passage from Metaphysical Anatomy and they will feel victimized by the words. It's aggressive. It's not comfortable. You read it and you're like, oh God, how do you know this much about me? It's super uncomfortable. And what I do is dissolve that. And when you read it again, you just feel at peace with it. You feel calm. And then often diseases fall out, sometimes instantly. That's what diseases are. There you go. Mark, you can have a word.
I'm just soaking it up. Very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've worked on lots of people with lots of different things, and they do solid-based diseases are pretty difficult to do. Gas-based diseases are fairly, I know I don't want to talk down people's awful diseases that they've had for decades, but something like depression, I've helped people and it's dissolved in minutes, and it's something, and I feel such an obligation to get this work out there, because there are so many people suffering unnecessarily when I've got the key to the kingdom. And this is a call to arms, everyone. I need to recruit. I need more people who are able to do this work, because the amount of suffering in the world is horrifying. And actually, once you can do the stuff that I can do, which is what I teach, I awaken your ascended abilities and you get superpowers, then you can learn how to do this stuff and you can help people. It's life-changing regularly. I was working on it, was in the press a few weeks ago, a pop star called Diana Vickers, who's a friend of mine I've known since she was an X Factor back in the day. And she had endometriosis. Well, potentially endometriosis. You're not allowed to say it's endometriosis until you've been cut open and they've diagnosed it by slicing you open. However, 3 doctors said it was endometriosis, so it's probable it was that. And when I read her the passage about endometriosis, it rung true. So it's very, very likely that it was endometriosis, so I'm not allowed to say that specifically. So I read her the passage from endometriosis. No, before then, she's a very alive person, super fun, super flamboyant, she's wild, she's great. But she went very insular. She stopped leaving the house. She didn't really want to go anywhere. She was in stabbing pain in her abdomen. She basically wasn't able to live her life or do anything or go anywhere. And she just, she was just becoming a bit of a hermit, and she's not that person. So she just posted on her Instagram saying, I need a magical solution to this. And I was like, mate, your mates with a wizard. And having worked on her when she was an X Factor, years ago, and I helped her with her tonsils because she kept getting tonsillitis, and I fixed that 15 or so years ago. Like, why have you not come to me, you silly sausage? So I said, look, let's see if we can help you with this. So what I did was read the passage to her, and she was in stabbing pain in her abdomen. It was really, really bad. And at the end of 50 minutes, and my internet wasn't set up by then because I just moved into a new house. So I was literally on the phone to her, reading a passage and dissolving the emotional reason behind it. And within 50 minutes, she was pain-free. That completely went, and it hasn't been back. And that was in March, I believe. And then since then, she had another thing, which was a secondary symptom, which was to do with leg pain in her thighs. And that went also very quickly. No, I had to do a second session and that went. So then she's been pain-free ever since. And I've done this, hundreds of times with different people in different situations. And they just go. These diseases, blooming go. It's a revelation, and everyone needs to know how to do this stuff, because we need to empower people. My company is called Divine Empowerment because I want to divinely empower people. This is your birthright. This is who you are. And this is quite normal. Like, this is normal. We are not supposed to be sick. It's completely, it's absurd that we're sick at all. It's just because we get stuck on emotional loops, because we've got AI and demons and all sorts of multidimensional beings who are feeding on us, and they trap us in our stupid, very real thoughts, very real situations, but these situations which plague us forever, and they will just manifest it somewhere in our lives and in a disease, or we attract that sort of stuff again. And it's just time to evolve beyond that. And it's time to not be sick anymore and to avoid illness. And it's just a question of having some accountability, noticing when you're, being upset, dissolving it. And that's it. And then you don't need to get sick anymore. Sickness is something that we don't need. And we need to dissolve the ones that we currently got and get out of our emotional fixations and get well. It's time for that, guys.
Yeah, I like that. That should be the title of what's the title of your new book?
I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Okay. It's time to stop being sick. I like that.
Time to stop being sick. I might write that down.
Yeah, write that down. I'll have 15%.
Of what? No, I am getting paid. Yeah. First books don't get that much. Yeah, so that's just to get it out there. So there is a book, but I'm not really allowed to talk about the deal, but there will be a book coming up next year at some point. Time to Stop PTSD. PTSD it's actually, I've done it so many times. I've done it so many times to people. My level 2 students can do PTSD without really breaking a sweat. not to undermine people's illnesses, because I'm also very cautious, because I come in like a bulldozer, and I don't want to belittle or undermine the suffering that any one of you may be having, or your friends or family. But it's time for that to stop. What about cancer? Heather's just put, cancer is a solid-based disease, and I'm teetering towards it. I'm not there yet. It's the sort of unicorn which I'm working towards doing. Liquid-based diseases are pretty consistent. Solid-based diseases, it's about firepower, and it's about awakening my energy system to an angelic system, which I've done. And people who can see might see that I've got wings. My seers out there. So, Mark, do you have any questions? I just did a monologue.
Yeah, well, that's the weird thing when you're doing Zoom and you've got 190 people there. You feel like you're talking to yourself, but I think everybody's like me, hooked in and waiting to see what you're going to say next.
Should we show them what it is? Because I like to, you know, there's one thing giving you a big story, and there's another one actually proving that I'm not talking absolute nonsense. So let's start by showing you, and then we can go to a bit more of my story or some questions or something. But I think you need to feel it viscerally, and then you will know what it is. Psoriasis, every disease anyone's putting on screen is the same thing. I've got a textbook, Metaphysical Anatomy, tells the emotional reasons behind it. I've worked on psoriasis loads of times. I fixed it loads of times. I've had someone who was really weird who had, it's a really fascinating story. He had psoriasis for 25 years or so. And I worked out when it was. There was a trauma when he was a teenager, and his friends beat him up. He was like hanging out with a girl that he really liked, and his friends came out of nowhere and beat the absolute crap out of him, put him in hospital. And his girlfriend was watching, or a girl that he liked was watching him, and he was so heartbroken by that he put shielding on. Psoriasis is armor. Think about the scales. It's scales on your skin, but it's armor to protect yourself from the outside. So he put that on to protect himself from that horrible abuse that he suffered. When we pinpointed that and dissolved that resonance, it was gone within 5 or 6 days, which it's not allowed, it's not supposed to, according to medicine. It takes 28 to 31 days to get new skin, and it was gone in 5 days, and it was everywhere. So psoriasis, I've done loads of times. That's just one story. Okay, let's do the tinnitus. Every disease, guys, everyone's just putting diseases on the screen. Every disease, every single disease, it all fits into the solid liquid gas. Think about the components of the disease. Is it a gas? Is it a solid? Or is it a liquid? There are sometimes environmental factors in some of these diseases as well. Alzheimer's just come on stage, on screen. I think that's got to do with aluminium. The brain is often, I think people have too much aluminium in their diet, maybe cans or deodorants or various different things like that. And the aluminium is not excreted very well. And people with Alzheimer's have their brains are like Swiss cheese, if you've ever looked at them. And it's with high concentration of aluminium in their brain. I think that it actually rots their brain. And I don't know how to fix that, to be honest. It's literally, there are holes in their brain. So it's not quite the same sort of disease. It's very complicated, Alzheimer's. Right. Okay, so let's do a demonstration. Unless you've got anything to say before then, Mark.
No, let's get on with it. Let's
all right, let's do it. So what I'm going to ask everyone to do. So normally when I'm doing this stuff, I do a solo trauma event. So one trauma that happened once. But we're going to go in a bit more hardcore for you lot. And I've got a team of my divine empowerment practitioners also helping out. So thank you, every one of you. So they're going to also help out. So we can sort of get a bit more juice behind us to do it. So what we're going to do is an emotional theme. So something, or you can do an individual trauma, or you can do quite a lot of different things. So if you want to do a story of like grief or rejection or betrayal, or something that happened quite a few times, like something really quite awful in your mind, and we'll at least reduce it. If you want it to all be gone, then maybe do a solo trauma, but we might be able to get through quite a lot with quite a lot of people. So find something that when you think about it makes you feel quite upset. And what we're going to do is I'm going to get you to think about it, open up Pandora's box, think about and allow yourself to feel it at a rate which is comfortable to you. Don't go in too hard, especially if it's something like PTSD, which, you know, that's a really intense situation. So just do it comfortably and safely for yourself. So make sure you do that initially, but just go in and feel it. And when you feel like it's neutralized, because I'm going to neutralize this, I'm literally going to dissolve the AI and portal out various different things. It's quite magical what I'm going to be doing, but the resonance will go. So we're going to grade it if it's a 10 out of 10, and then we're going to check in with everybody and just see, have we gone down? So people can write in the chat, what is it now? So maybe it will start. So start with something which is like around an 8 or so out of 10 severity. So when you think about it, it's pretty upsetting. And then we're going to do a layer of it, check in with everyone, and it should have gone down at least a couple of points. Some people will go down to a 0 immediately. Some people will be a bit more sticky. And then we're going to do a couple of rounds checking in with people, and then something which is utterly awful, which happened to you, won't have that much resonance in it anymore. If you are sick, it might be harder. Like if you've got cancer or something like that, it might be very stuck together. So that makes things a bit harder. So we may need to, that might be something more for a private session. Yeah, but I had someone a while ago, which was absolutely fascinating before I get onto this, whose mum had cancer, breast cancer, and her husband had just passed, and she was sent home from a hospital to die. They sent her home to die, and her daughter had a cyst in the exact same place where her mum's cancer was. So what happened was, and normally when I'm doing grief, it's quite easy to do, but hers was like going through treacle. It was super difficult to do. And what it was just because it densified into a liquid form over all of that, over her being stuck in it and very upset about it for quite a long time. And it took me like a weekend to do it. It was a few years ago. It took me a weekend to do it. And it was really difficult to get rid of this grief for her. And then by the time I cleared the grief, the cyst went at the same time. It just vanished out of nowhere. And it was about the grief. So that was an interesting one. All right. Has everyone got a trauma in mind, or a collection of traumas? Maybe there was some abuse, maybe there was some grief, maybe there was a relationship which was awful, like an abusive relationship, or maybe there's, satanic ritual abuse or something awful that may have happened to you. Has everyone got something like that in their minds? Has everyone got it? So I'm going to ask you to think of it and to grade it. Thank you. Some people are saying yes. I'm going to ask you to think of it and to grade it out of 10. So 10 being obviously the worst, 0 being nothing. So you need to be able to feel it. If you can feel it, I can clear it, but you have to be able to feel it. So you have to be able to get into the emotions. So is everyone ready? 9. 9's good. Yeah, 9's great. Great, we've got some 9s. Okay, so when you're ready, please just close your eyes, start thinking about it, and feel the emotions at a comfortable rate. And I will dissolve the resonance, and then I'll check in with you in a couple of minutes. So it's going to be quiet time on air for a second, but just stay with me and I'll do this. Okay. Okay, that's our first layer and our first check-in. How's everyone feeling? Has it gone down a couple of points? Where's everybody, please? Yeah.
I think it'd be good if anybody wants to speak, just put your hand up. It might be good to have a bit of interaction here, Antonia.
Me 11 Light, the little girl that wants to speak.
Okay.
Can you see her?
Yeah.
If you want, unmute yourself, please.
Asking you, do you want to speak?
Yeah, what happened, darling?
Hello.
I can hear you, sweetie. What happened? Are you a bit shy?
Um,
Does it feel better, darling? Yeah? Okay, good. Are you a bit shy? Okay, no problem. Let's anyone else. I think has anyone else got their hands up?
Yeah. Richard Pugh. Hi, Richard. Here he is.
Hi.
Hi, Rich. How are you?
Emotional now.
We haven't finished. We're just doing a check-in. We're still going to keep going, but I just want to do a check-in for everyone. Tell me how you are, Sudie.
Yeah, so it's a childhood abuse. I've been missing like a week from my memory that I can't from my abuser took me on holiday. And I just had a flash and an image of it for the first time in my entire life.
Wow, so you blocked it.
Yeah, completely
Yeah.
blocked out. The only parts of the holiday I remember was a canal boat holiday. So I remember going in the canal and doing the locks, and that was it. I was only 4 years old, but yeah,
Holy smokes.
there it was strong.
Good. Are you feeling a bit better about it now? Well, now you've confined it, maybe you're still stuck in it. We're going to do another couple of rounds.
Yeah, it's a weird one because it was never an aggressive thing. It was a friendly kind of situation. It's really hard to describe as an adult, but like a lot of childhood sexual trauma is violent. This was more of a best friend coaxing it out of me kind of situation. So I think maybe that week was a bit more traumatic for me because I remember all the rest of it. So yeah, I had a few weird twitches as well.
It gets stuck in various different funny places in your body, and you know, and suddenly they can have a twitch with it where some trauma is released from the physical tissue.
I had some twitches as well.
Did you? Whereabouts?
I'm not saying. Thanks for sharing that, Richard.
All right.
Jackie?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can.
Oh, hi. Okay. I've had quite a lot of trauma in my life. I was like sexually attacked when I was 12. I had a mix deported out the country. Then when I was 15, attempted rape. And then when I was married, I was a young mom, physically and mentally abused. And then at 33, I was involved with somebody and I was in a coma for 2 weeks with meningitis and encephalitis. And then I found out that he actually had known that he was HIV positive. I nearly died in the hospital. I found there were other women and children, and I took him to the High Court in South Africa, won my court case. They use it now as a unprecedented court, you know, for other people. I know I'm a starseed and I've been on a journey of a lot of trauma and I've woken up, but I sometimes feel that that's still within me, you know, that resonance is in my soul.
Feeling a bit better?
I am feeling a little bit better still, because my daughter as well, because I was married to her dad for 13 years and then he disappeared out of her life when she was 13. So I had to sort of be mom and dad, and she developed borderline personality disorder as well. So it's been tough.
We're going to do some more rounds, sweetheart. So we'll do some more rounds for you. So just focus on one of those particular situations, because you've mentioned 3 or 4 very upsetting situations. So just choose one which you want to prioritize and then work and play it out like a movie montage, the whole of the scenes. So all of the scenes around it, just play it out in your mind, and then I'm going to dissolve the resonance. But pick one rather than, you know, all of your life, and then we're going to do another round in a minute and just let it play out in your mind, and I'm going to dissolve the resonance, and hopefully it'll feel better for you after that. Okay?
Thank you.
No problem, darling.
Thanks for sharing.
Should we do round 2 before
round
we do?
Yeah.
And then we'll take some questions after that, because I do want to do several rounds. Okay, so as I just said, if you you can play it out like a movie montage, or you can just sit in your grief, or whatever it is. I'm gonna, you know, you guys can choose how you want to play it, but play it out like a movie montage. And it's gone down for a number of people, so that's fantastic, but we've got more to do. I just have to wait because it gets to a hard layer and then we check in with people. So yeah, play it out like a movie montage. and just see the scenes in a in a safe and a way that you're comfortable doing, and we'll resolve the next round. Okay, let's go next round. Okay, round two. Has that gone down another couple of points for everybody? No, it's Hillary's saying no. What's going on with you, Hillary?
I I tried then just to do the time that I became paralyzed at in a supermarket when I was 39, when I just couldn't move my arms or my legs and was in bedridden for many years. And it didn't work for me there. What I'd chosen before was, I've done years of work on hidden trauma, because I don't have memories under 12 that other than somatic ones and a lot of flashbacks and things. And there's deep, extreme danger basically of being annihilated in the womb, which did happen because I lost my twin brother, and I kind of know some of the story about it. But I can't then stand, I can't walk. And so like as we're going into it, because it's so intense, my legs, I can't feel them. And that's what it's like. I've done so many years of shamanic constellation, you name it, 25 years of intense, and I just uncover more ancestral trauma and more very early abuse, sexual abuse as well, my father. But it's not, no memories will come, because it's like not hardcore, memories, nothing I can hold. So it's really hard not to feel like a fraud. And yet I've had Lyme, and really difficulties walking and digesting, and just
the thing is, if they've manifested into physical diseases, and this goes for everyone, if you've got physical diseases, it's much harder to get to, and that's something that we do in a private session. This is like, that's what happens. If the trauma causes disease, then it's going to be a liquid or it's going to be a solid, and it's going to take more work than doing what we're doing now. So if it hasn't worked for you, choose something smaller for round 3, please. Something that you can access, something that you can think about and feel those emotions. So you want to do something which, when you think about it, it makes you feel sad or makes you feel angry. So think about a particular argument, or maybe someone passing, or a breakup, or something like that, which is a bit more manageable. Because I think maybe some of you are going in with all of your traumas and all of your life, and that we can't do in a live like this. It's just too much. So just think of something which is very upsetting to you, and we'll get it down. But think of a solo trauma. Some of you will be able to do bigger things, but it also depends how much you can move into them and think about them. But if it manifested physically, it's going to take more than a live like this. So just choose something which is a bit more manageable. The people who aren't having good results so far.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sweetie. Anne?
I'll just unmute. Yeah, what came up for me really is something that's been with me all my life, being number 7 of 8 children. My mother, very poor family, no money, and they were not at a good time in their marriage when I was coming along. And I was told by a healer sometime when I was many years ago that my mother tried to abort me. And I've often had that abandonment and actually neglect. My teeth were rotten as young because nobody told me to wash my teeth. There wasn't people looking after me. So that's just a very strong thing of constant neglect. And then my self-esteem has really been affected by that all my life. And so that's something I feel that's not been cleared. That's still, I've done a lot of work over the years, but just somehow I feel there's something.
That seems like quite a big situation. Yeah. Has it cleared at all working on it now, or does it need more attention?
I just didn't notice it so much the last time, but yes, from the 10, you know, from the 9, I felt it went back down by 3, and then the last time not particularly, because I think actually, well, I was in it. You know, I think I was emotionally kind of bought myself there for a moment, and then
yeah.
So I think that maybe that was why it didn't change.
No, it should change. It should change. Just get, I mean, do it as much as you can, allow yourself to be vulnerable. Sometimes it just gets a bit sticky, and then we could just go down and do the next bit afterwards. So don't worry about that. So that's fine. Yeah. So if it hasn't worked, for the people who are saying that things aren't working, then just choose something which is just a solo trauma event, so you can definitely experience it. And for those who are having good results, keep going as you are. Anything you want to add, Mark?
Well, yeah, my grandmother tried to get me aborted, and I think I've had the same issue. On round 2 for me, I kind of didn't want to do it. And I'm only bringing that up because I think other people might be having a similar thing.
Yeah, I've also shifted the AI. There was an attack at the same time, which I just was shifting while people were talking. So there's a few things going on simultaneously. Yeah, if you don't want to go there, choose something else, guys. Simple. And also, this, you know, we are doing this live. It's new technique. You've never seen this before. It might be a bit scary doing it live and all the rest of it, and that's no problem. Mark's going to post this later. I'll post it on my my YouTube as well, but he'll post it, and you're fans of his. And then you can rewatch it, and you can watch this video as many times as you want, and you're still going to get the benefits of the healing through just watching the video back later. So don't worry about doing everything now.
And I'll just say something for people that don't know how to use Zoom. There's a reactions button across the bottom. If you click on that, that's where you can raise your hand. There's a little raise hand thing on the reactions. So let's do round 3.
Let's do it. Okay, so for those who, again, for those who didn't have that much experience, just choose something which you can access better and you're ready to let go of. All right, let's do round 3 then, and then some people can do whatever you want. We'll go for the next one. Let's do that now. Okay, that was a bigger round with less sabotage. How's everyone feeling? Not good enough feeling all my life. Yeah, better. Julie, have you got your hand up?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So I felt it working. And in the second one, I got more emotional, more angry. And then by the end of the third one, I was like, damn it, I want to be angry. And I couldn't.
Fantastic.
It's working. Thank you.
Lovely.
That's good to hear. Thanks, Julie.
Thank you.
iPhone. Hello, iPhone. There she is.
Hi.
Hi.
I certainly feel a lot better. Not as hard as what I was when I first had the thought. Doesn't seem as harsh now.
That's what we're looking for.
That's good. You there, Antonia?
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. That's fantastic.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Oh.
Thank you.
But thanks, iPhone.
Thanks.
Do you want to take any more, or what are you going to do next?
No, does anyone want to say anything? Does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask me?
Well, we've got Bocale. No, she's not unmuting. Zareen? Oh no, you're there.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Hi.
Oh,
Bocale?
sorry. Yes, well, it's Sarah.
Oh, hi, Sarah. That's easier to pronounce.
Hi. I'm physically shaking all over.
We'll do some extra on you. Is it things releasing from you?
I'm supposing so. I feel better than I did in the beginning, but I'm just physically shaking.
Okay. We'll keep working on you.
Thanks.
Keep an eye on you.
Thanks, Sarah.
That will just be things being released. So it's just stuck energy, which is just sort of vibrating out of her. So we'll keep an eye on you. And Sarah, do email me later, Antonia at divineempowerment.co.uk, just to make sure that you're okay, and we'll keep an eye on you.
Okay, there's other people with their hands up. Do you want to talk to them, or do you want to move on?
Zareen? Is that how you pronounce it?
Zareen.
Zareen?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, hi. I'm having a bit of anxiety in my heart or heart chakra area. And I've got a number of issues. And should I just focus on one? Because I found my brain going to a number of them.
Yeah, you need to focus on one, because it's too much to expect to be able to do all of them all in one blast. But that's what I did say in the last one. Just focus on one particular issue, and then we can work on that. Wendy?
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Yeah, I felt a big black mass I pushed out of me. Really big black mass to do with past trauma.
And it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah.
How are you feeling now?
Heck of a lot better. Definitely better. The trauma's down to about a 3 now.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Great news. Okay. Is the next one another iPhone? No, sorry, there's Anne next, isn't there? Anne Laughlin.
Yeah, just to say, I feel a lot lighter. I don't know whether when I sat, there was something that kind of came in that said, I'm ready to let this go. And I didn't do anything, but I just, at the end of it, it was like, I just felt a lot lighter. Nothing's charging me, but I don't know what my mind or whether that's just the way it is.
Fantastic. That's what it was. We're just a neutral resonance, so it no longer bothers you. That's what ideally what we're looking for. Fantastic. Another iPhone, blonde lady with glasses. A few iPhones on there.
Oh, is that me?
Yeah, that's you.
Oh,
Were you even wearing glasses a second ago, or was I tripping?
I was a second ago, yeah.
Like, what's happened? Go on.
Okay, I am trembling, just vibrating, and the trauma image was of childhood abuse, and it was interesting in the third round how the vision changed. So I just feel like I'm vibrating with a whole lot of emotions. It was a image of my father and me, but in the third round, it was like, it just turned into this feeling of he didn't want to do this. It was his own reaction, his own pain, and he was almost out of control. And I'm shaking talking about it, but I just had this feeling where we just connected and related, and I could see he didn't want to do this. And suddenly it was like he turned to this sort of bright light.
Amazing.
And we hugged and embraced, and it was like everything I had wanted.
Oh.
And so I'm just sort of amazed. I just want to know what you think of that.
That sounds fantastic. It's just releasing all that suffering. It's gone now out of your system, and now you're just back to, see, the suffering is what makes us away from God. It makes us less joyful. It makes us more severe and more strict and more rigid in so many ways. And that's not our true nature. Our true nature is really playful and fun. Look at children before they're traumatized. They're so fun and so full of life. It's trauma that makes us repressed and angry and all the rest of it. So if you can sort of remove all of that stuff from you, you become a lot more playful, and life is much easier. And you bring in beautiful things into your life rather than pain and suffering. So that just sounds like you've gone back to your original state and what it should have been. So that's really nice.
Wonderful. So is the vibrating, the trembling, it's just releasing then?
It's releasing, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Stuff. It was, you know, I've dug out a lot of stuff from your system.
Overwhelmed. Thank you.
That's brilliant.
So much.
Should we do some more, Mark, or should we do another round? What do you think?
Yeah,
one more round?
Keep
or
going.
one more round?
Yeah.
All right, let's do one more round. So again, make sure you're just focusing on not all of the traumas you've ever had in your entire life. Let's just focus on one or keep going with the same one. Yeah? Let's do another round. Okay, let's go. Okay, that looks like it's the next round done. Lots going on. How's Myra doing? You've got your hand up and you look like that was quite emotional for you. How are you feeling?
Shaky, and the tears won't stop flowing.
Okay. So tears are a good thing. You know, we've talked about the solid liquid gas. It's the liquid is the liquid traumas basically. So it's almost like liquid traumas are leaving your system. So that's a good thing. It's getting it out. You know, they're tears of joy and tears of sadness have a different chemical components to them. They're made of different minerals somehow. So it's actually that trauma leaving you. So don't be worried about crying. That's great, because it might manifest physically. Otherwise, it's much better to get it out through your tears. So that's a good thing.
Okay, and the nervousness, like I wasn't nervous before this started, and now I just feel jittery.
That just could be things on loosening up and shaking out of your system. There seems to be quite a lot of shaking. I think it's things just loosening up for everybody, because imagine it's been like squished, all of this trauma's been squished, and now we started to remove it and it's just starting to leave like that. That's why it's doing it. It's just things on their way out because they're quite compressed. We're doing a lot today, so it's
the first round I felt it.
Sorry,
the first round I felt it really in my heart chakra, like a pressure, and then it released, and then the second and third time I felt it in my body, and then the tears just started in the middle of the second round.
Yeah. And Tanya's right.
But, okay, good.
Release. It's correct. It's just things coming out of you.
Okay. And then in my subconscious, I kept saying, okay, release it, release it, release it. Is that a good thing?
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
Okay.
That's great. You know, imagine, you know, we're talking, some people are mentioning in the chat as well. In when, for example, a deer gets nearly taken out by a wolf or something, you know, they go and they shake. There is adrenaline dump when they get all this stuff out of them, and it's actually this fear and this adrenaline coming out of them. Now, we don't really do that as humans, which is to our detriment. What we do is when we are nearly in a car crash or in a car crash, what we do is try to calm people down. We give them like a sugary tea because they're shaking and we want to stop the shaking. Actually, the shaking is bloody brilliant. The shaking is getting the adrenaline out and the problems out of you. You're shaking the stuff, she's shaking the heaviness and the adrenaline and the stress out of your system. So shaking is not a bad thing. We've made it into a bad thing because we don't, well, medicine is not understanding what it is, but animals shake when they are traumatized, and then it shakes it off. Otherwise it gets stuck, that adrenaline, that fear, that trauma gets trapped in the body. So shaking is not a bad thing for anyone who's shaking. It's a nervous system release.
So would going exercising after this be a good thing?
See how you feel. It wouldn't be a bad thing. It depends. Like some people, this work does either one of two things. You're either absolutely high as a kite running around like, you know, like you're on ecstasy or something, I don't know, but just like completely elated, or you're blooming exhausted and you just need to go and sleep, and you just literally sleep like a log, and you know, and then you feel great afterwards. So, and I never know which way it's going to go. It's impossible to know. And water helps. Yes, Tanya's correct. She said water helps, definitely. Grounding is always helpful. I live by the sea now because it's really important to ground, and a bath is very good. Epsom salts is really good for integration. Like I use 4 salts sometimes. Minerals, making sure you've got good minerals, that sort of stuff is very useful to you as well. So yes, okay, Kylie next.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you. I really feel that has helped. After this last session, I feel like I've got a bit of not a headache, but it feels quite weighty up here after this one. But what I would like to ask you, if you don't mind, it was me that asked the question about epilepsy, and it's not for myself, but my son, my friend's son, has had epilepsy for about 6 years.
Yeah.
They've had him on so many drugs. They've tried them and they've upped them, then they've downed them, and he's
send me an email. Send me an email at info@divineempowerment.co.uk, and I'll send you the page from my textbook that tells you about epilepsy. I don't know off the top of my head. It's got hundreds of diseases in that book. Okay. So I will send you. So just email info@divineempowerment.co.uk, and I will send you the page on epilepsy. Anyone else who has a disease that wants me to send them the page on disease, also just send me an email, same address. and just say what disease you want, and I'll take a photo of the page for you, and then you can see if there's resonance in that.
Really wish I could do something to help.
Well, if there's resonance in there, then hopefully we can dissolve the resonance, and hopefully the disease can fall out. I mean, there's no guarantees, but it's pretty consistent. It is pretty consistent.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much.
Tish? Sorry, your audio is off, lovely. You need to turn your audio on, Tish.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Antonia. The third session, I did feel digging a little bit deep to find the trauma. I've got trauma that I've worked through quite extensively. And I've released the contracts around them. So focused on more of the immediate, which is anger, dealing with solid 3D realities. Third session, a shudder. And the last session, I actually felt pop in my neck, which was pretty strange. It was just like, almost as if you have your vertebra just slightly, can't find the word. But anyway, it was just like a little pop in the neck.
And how's your neck feeling now? Was there some pain?
Actually, I've been dealing with a sore neck the whole day. It's a lot better. Like this really kind of feeling. You mentioned AI.
Yeah.
Clearing of the AI. Could you tell us a little bit more? Because when you said it, it said, because I've been dealing with this pandemic, whatever you want to call it, relatively well with very bad situations since unemployment. But the last 2 months, the wheels are falling off. And I'm wondering, is the AI not a factor in this?
It's a factor in everything. As far as I can see, anything which isn't working out, any trauma that you're trapped within, any disease that you have, is AI. It's literally anything which isn't going right in so many ways, and it's just sabotaging because it wants to feed on your emotional energy. So I think it's I think it's in pretty much everything, and we're all infested with it, and I'm working to get rid of it. But it's in, I mean, the only thing I found it not really in is wild animals. Pretty much everything else I've seen has got it. Maybe wild fruit and vegetables and that sort of stuff. Only wild stuff, anything domesticated in any way, I've seen AI in. So it's anything which isn't working out is that. So yeah, it's getting rid of AI makes things much easier. Okay, Liza.
Oh, hi, Antonia.
Hi.
Hi. I didn't think I'd find it easy to be able to focus on the thing that I chose. And it was odd because it kind of just expressed itself. It was really more than I thought it would be.
Right.
I didn't catch the second session, but the funny thing why I put my hand up on the last session, I couldn't even really focus on it.
Yeah, you can't find it anymore. It's just gone out of your consciousness.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for. That's perfect. Yeah, that's what we want to do. We want to get to the stage where you just don't give monkeys about it. That's when you're healed. You just think about it, you're like, I can't even remember it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Great. Liz?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Hi. I'm working through a lot of trauma, childhood trauma, but I concentrated on losing my daughter, but it seems as though it sticks in my throat. It's like I've got knives in my throat. So since a child, I almost never cry. So I feel it kind of trapped.
Right.
And I don't know how that should come out in this.
Well, I mean, if it's, try and watch this video again and see if you can get more out of you, or book in for a session with one of me or one of my practitioners. You might need some special attention in it, because you might just need us to go in there and do individual stuff for you. So I think that's the best way to do it. But by all means, just watch this video again and see if you can get a bit more deep, and then or book in with one of us and to try to help you with that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anne?
Hi from Canada. I am just wondering, like, I had the shaking symptoms like a few of us had, and what, like, it feels like it subsided. How do I know if I need more work done that I can do on myself, how to do it? Because like Morgellons is a mysterious disease, and I'm in private treatment for Lyme, which is very costly. I feel terrible for all of those who are suffering from it and all the diseases in the entire world. So what can I do to help myself get over this and let it go?
Have sessions with us or whatever treatment you're doing, but you need to dissolve the emotional resonance of the diseases. Otherwise, you'll have trouble getting rid of any disease in this. The problem with
I was shaking though.
That's good, but there's probably more to do. If you've got a proper disease, it's not necessarily going to go just watching this session. You need to, this is about emotional releases. This isn't about physical releases or disease releases. I'm not there yet. I can't I'm not able to work on 200 people simultaneously and cure their diseases. One day, maybe. That would be epic. But
You're on the way.
Need some focused attention. What?
You're on the way.
You're on the way.
I'm on the way. I'm trying.
Yeah.
But what we need to do, thank you. What we need to do for you or anyone else who has a disease is I need to get my textbook out and I need to read you what the disease is about. And then we need to dissolve the resonance with what that says. And then you've got more of a chance for it to dissipate. You don't know the nuances of it. I can't do the nuances of it without reading the textbook. I have to use the textbook to work on any disease. So
the only thing that comes close to defining it is spirochetes, which is a type of super bacteria.
You don't have my textbook, sweetheart. It's my textbook that I read, my specific textbook. I've got a book called Metaphysical Anatomy, which you read and it tells you the emotional reasons behind every disease. So I read that passage or a page about each disease to each one of my clients, and I dissolve that resonance, and with any luck, the diseases disappear and they just sort of fall apart.
That sounds like Louise Hay's. That sounds like Louise Hay's sort of work.
Similar to Louise Hay's, but significantly more detailed. So it's a sort of extension of what Louise was doing.
I'd be interested in that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, if anybody, there's a special code you've given us for your
yes, if anyone wants to actually book in with me or my practitioners. So if you want to work with me, that's brilliant. I've also got loads of practitioners who are absolutely, the difference between me and them is I can learn how to do it, but I teach them, I give them everything. My top level students can, on the last day of class, can do exactly what I can do. I get more the next day, but the only thing that separates us is really, sometimes I'm a bit faster and I can download more stuff, but they can do what I can do. So by all means, book in with them. They are bloody brilliant and cheaper. So if you want to book in with them, then please do, or me. The website's divineempowerment.co.uk or .com, either one. And Mark we've got a little discount code for everyone who's here, and the code is Mark15. In addition, you can learn this stuff. If you want to learn this, which I would be so happy. My thing is I love doing one-to-one sessions. It's wonderful. But more importantly, I need to empower people to be able to do this themselves. This is what the whole thing is. I want an angel army to be able to fight the darkness. That's what we need. You need to be able to do this work and help everyone. The number of times I just do it, guerrilla style. I was doing some filming the other day, guerrilla style, just healing people on the street. Like it's the most useful life skill, because you stop you stop attracting crap you don't want in your life, because there's a dark side to the law of attraction.
I get that.
There's a dark side. Unless you've cleared your stuff out of your system, you invite that stuff in more and more, because it's still in your field. The universe can't distinguish whether it's something you like or something you don't like. Whatever you're focusing on, you bring in. So if you have loads of horrible things in your system, you need to get rid of them. Otherwise, you're going to attract all that more and more and more. So this is one of the most useful things you can do. And I wish it was taught in schools at some point. I hope it is. If you can clear your traumas and then awaken your energy system on the path to enlightenment. I do it. My school is an enlightening school. These are more enlightening abilities. I don't think I'm enlightened, but I'm certainly on the path, and I have quite a few superpowers. The things you learn in level 1, you learn how to dissolve traumas in level 1. It's an online course you take from the privacy of your own home. Whenever you want to, because I've had so many people in so many time zones, it doesn't work for everyone. So you just take it as you want. It's £333 and you learn how to resolve traumas. You do some chakra work, you learn how to change the taste of wine using magic. You learn all sorts of really interesting things. Level 2 is you learn how to do it much faster. It's 200 times faster than level 1. And you learn how to bend spoons, and it's awakening your system. Like every level, you learn how to do this more efficiently. You can work on yourselves, you can work on other people. And it means that every time that something crappy happens to you, which is inevitable, we're all going to have shitty times some days, we can clear them and not let them bog us down and then cause us to have a disease. Dis-ease, lack of ease. We need to stop having lack of ease. And if we can do that, nip it in the bud, as soon as we get upset about something, someone abuses us in some way, we become the victor, not the victim of all these different things, and then we can avoid getting sick. If you deal with these things, you can avoid getting sick. Obviously, make sure you're having a decent diet and lifestyle and all the rest of it as well. Don't, you know, you've got to make sure you are taking care of yourself. But if you can get rid of the emotions, you can become much, much happier. And Mark's code, the Mark 15 code, is for all products across my site. So you can do it. There's a 3-course bundle, which is $7.99. Each one, the course is $3.99, or you can book in with me or my practitioners. But everything is 15% off for you guys if you're interested. Any more questions? CJ, we've not heard from you yet.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, I had a lot of emotional release each time. And something, it was from emotional trauma. And something I noticed was that when you started to do your thing, I could feel it in my tummy. It's like soft cramping or something.
Okay, how's it feeling now?
Yeah, it's gone away now. But as soon as you started, and I don't know what it is you're doing, but as soon as you started,
magic. I'm a wizard.
Yeah,
This is a wizard
I could
school.
feel this in my tummy, and I was thinking, what is that? And it was like where above the ovaries in each side, it was like in there.
It will just be what you've been focusing on, and that it will have found that position in your body. So I've released whatever it was that you're focusing on, and each disease, lack of ease, has a particular point in the body. So it would just be that it's, if you're getting fluttering in particular locations, it will be because your thoughts corresponds with that particular area.
Okay.
So that's what it is. So I do call myself a wizard, but I actually like the word sorcerer. Now, sorceress, because that's about working with source.
Yeah, right.
Which I realized. I think it's kind of cool.
HP sauce.
HP sauce.
Yeah. I like the idea of having an army of angels out there healing everybody, because you know, I've been healing myself with this hand. You know, we've all got these abilities. We just need a bit of a push, because health sovereignty is key to all sovereignty, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. I found that quite emotional, actually, Antonia. And I think you've done a great thing there. I'm going to go and write a book now called Liquid Trauma of a Clown.
Liquid Trauma of a Clown.
Clown.
Do I get a poem? You're going to write me a poem at some point.
Tears of a Clown. I'm just, you know, come on, keep up.
Liquid clears. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Liquid
as long as you
trauma.
don't steal my Time to Stop Being Sick book title.
No, you can keep that one. Have that as a gift. It's on me. That one's on me. Yeah, I'm gonna call it quits because I've got.
I just want to check on Sarah or Boquette, but before we go, because she was having slightly shaking, so I just want to check in on her. Can you come and tell us how you are now, darling? I just want to make sure you're okay.
Hello.
Hi, are you okay now?
Yes, I've stopped shaking now, but I am rather an empath. And I think from what other people were saying, I was picking up on other people's as well. It wasn't just mine, because I really was shaking. My whole body was jerking and so on. And I had feelings in my tummy area and in the head that other people have mentioned. And I think I was picking up on.
Yeah, that can happen as well. I sometimes do that.
Yeah. So, but yes, I'm much better now. Thanks.
Fantastic. Great. Sorry, Mike, I just wanted to finish with that. So thank you everyone from my side.
No, that's fine.
Thank
I've got a house full of screaming kids on the 16th birthday. Thank you for doing that. I'll get this up on YouTube tomorrow. Thanks everybody for coming.
Thanks everyone. So it's divineempowerment.co.uk. Please have a look at my Instagram, which is Antonia Harman, or Divine Empowerment, my YouTube. As once again, the code for everything is Mark15 to get 15% off all the products on my website. And if you want to talk to me, info@divineempowerment.co.uk. And I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much.
Brilliant. Thank you, Antonia. Thank you everybody for coming.
Thank you. Bye everyone. Bye.